All right, good morning, fifth graders. This is Miss James, and today I'm going to be leading you through close reading for the text at dusk. So please make sure you have that text out either in your remote learning packet or in your Google Classroom. All right, let's get started. So our teaching point today is that close readers keep an active mind while reading a text. They orient and use a lens to guide their thinking. How are we going to do this? We're going to orient the text by reading the title, looking at any text features, and reading the first and last paragraphs or stanza of the text. We'll use that knowledge to make a prediction about what the text will be teaching us. We'll write about to guide our prediction. We'll read through the text. We'll stop at important moments to think about the text. We'll use the genre's lenses to guide our thinking. And after reading, we'll identify the main idea if it's nonfiction, theme for fiction, or deeper meaning if it's poetry. So let's go ahead and look at this text. So I can already see that it says it's a poem, and I can see it's not really in stanzas, but it's divided into lines. So here I have the first and last little section. It wasn't clearly divided into stanzas. So to make my prediction, to orient, I'm going to read just the first and last little part. But first I want to think about what are the lenses for a poem. So some of the lenses for a poem are to think about the literal meaning, what's literally happening in the text. Think about any figurative language that comes up, the mood or tone, that's like the feeling of the text, and any deeper meaning. So these are what I'm going to be thinking about as I read. Okay, so let me orient. So it says at dusk. So I know that dusk is like right at evening time, when the sun's starting to set, the day is ending. By Natasha Trethewey. At first I think she is calling a child, my neighbor, leaning through her doorway at dusk, street lamps just starting to hum, the backdrop of evening. Then I hear the high-pitched wheedling we send out to animals who know only sound, not the meaning of our words. Hear, hear. Nor how they sometimes fall short. In another yard, beyond my neighbor's sight, the cat lifts her ears, turns first towards the voice, then back. So I'm noticing there's a speaker. She's talking in first person. She's observing her neighbor who's leaning out of her house and making noises to call her cat back inside. Let's keep reading. Left me to wonder that I too might lift my voice, sure of someone out there, send it over the line, stitching here to there, certain the sounds I make are enough to call someone home. So it sounds like the speaker is also wondering if she has someone in her life, whether it's a pet or a companion, that she would call home at the end of a day or at dusk time. So I'm going to write my prediction. So I think it's about calling a companion, whether it's a pet or a loved one, home at dusk, which means evening. Okay, so now let's read the text all the way through. So we already set up our lenses. We already made up a prediction. So I'm going to start reading again. At Dusk by Natasha Trethewey. At first I think she is calling a child, my neighbor, leaning through her door. At dusk. Street lamps just starting to hum. The backdrop of evening. Then I hear the high-pitched wheedling we send out to animals who know only sound, not the meanings of our words. Hear, hear. Nor how they sometimes fall short. In another yard, beyond my neighbor's sight, the cat lifts her ears, turns first towards the voice, then back, to the constellation of fireflies flickering near her head. It's as if she can't decide whether to leap over the low hedge. So I said the speaker's neighbor steps out to call her cat home at dusk. But the cat can't decide if she wants to go inside or not. She looks towards the voice, then she looks at the fireflies, and it says that she can't really decide whether to leap over the low hedge, the neat row of flowers, and bound onto the porch into the steady circle of light, or to stay where she is. Luminous possibility. All that would keep her away from home, flitting before her. So it sounds like the cat is like, on the one hand, it would be nice to go inside and there's light there, but there's all these really fun fireflies, making tons of cool light in front of me. So the cat's really distracted and can't decide. So it says that the cat sees the benefits of going inside, but is also distracted and excited by the fireflies. I listen as my neighbor's voice trails off. She's given up calling for now, left me to imagine her inside the house waiting, perhaps in a chair in front of the TV, or walking around doing small tasks. So it sounds like the neighbor gave up, and the speaker who's watching all this is imagining that the neighbor's going to go in for like kind of a lonely night. Maybe she'll, do some small tasks or walk around or sit in front of the TV, but the speaker thinks that the neighbor will probably be pretty lonely without her cat. She said neighbor gives up. Speaker imagines that not having her cat would bring some loneliness to her neighbor. Left me to wonder that I too might lift my voice, sure of someone out there. Send it over the line, stitching here to there, certain the sounds I make are enough to call someone home. So it sounds like the speaker is wondering if she has someone in his or her life, we don't know if it's a boy or a girl, important or close enough to call them home. Sorry, that says them. Let's just say them. My mistake. So it sounds like the mood or tone of this poem is like kind of lonely. Yeah, but it sounds like the neighbor is a little lonely, or maybe the speaker is projecting that the neighbor is a little lonely, and the speaker is starting to feel slightly lonely herself. Like she's wondering if she has somebody in her life that would bring that closeness or a companionship at the end of a day. So I said the mood is a little melancholy or lonely. So let's now think about the deeper meaning. So I think a deeper meaning is about how important it is to have companionship at the end of the day. Like when the day is done, everything is time to go inside, how it can be important to have a companion. So the deeper meaning, the importance of companionship, especially when the day is done. So please go ahead and make sure that you do the short responses that are assigned with this. Thank you for joining me for close reading. I look forward to working with you tomorrow.